I am bringing you this information as it happens realistically. The current leader of Gagauzia was recently arrested as a few weeks ago, but she's being tried now for corruption, and so essentially she is facing up to 7 years in prison for corruption, and that is a very interesting topic as it shows that Moldova may be federalizing more, and this is not good news for Russia. So if you are interested in this topic, I recommend you subscribe, as we will bring more of these topics as they happen. So I am currently here in Chișinău, Moldova, and the autonomous region of Gagauzia is an autonomous region of Moldova, and they have a separate government to the central government of Moldova, which is stationed actually pretty close nearby. And the central government of Moldova has recently decided that corruption is not okay. And the reforms set forth by Maia Sandu have been mixed, to say the least. Of course, they have been targeting Russian corruption networks and denying Russian funds to influence elections has indeed worked in Moldova proper. Balti is not nearly as corrupt as it once was. However, it has not stopped in Gagauzia, and it has not stopped in Tiraspol, Transnistria, which is the capital of the breakaway state of Prednestrovia. And so, of course, the way that people are looking into this situation is that it's a good thing. And to be honest, either way is a good thing. Whether or not she is tried and convicted is a good thing, as it shows either there's opportunity in Gagauzia for a autonomous company, or Moldova is becoming less corrupt, which would be also a interesting perspective to have. Now, that said, of course, Gagauzia is very interesting from the perspective of history. It was initially a part of the Moldovan SSR, and whenever the Moldovan SSR became independent, it was then made into an autonomous region, as they negotiated autonomy from the central government in Chișinău because they wanted to stay closer to Russia, whereas Moldova wanted to rejoin with Romania. And so they essentially diplomatically talked with Moldova and made sure that they could have a seat at the negotiating table whenever votes to join Romania happens. And so inherently, also, this is something that is inherently very interesting, as while many people are talking about Transnistria and how Transnistria impacts Moldova, not many people are talking about Gagauzia. Now, I will show you some photos of Comrat and how Comrat is actually fairly undeveloped, and it is lacking a lot of funds from the central government and Russia both, as the politicians are extremely corrupt and they do not work on infrastructure. And while I think that inherently there is good people in Gagauzia, my hostel manager is from Gagauzia, I believe that it is interesting from the perspective of the Gagauz creating a new republic, potentially, as they do have the right to do that if there is a referendum held. Now, this new republic would entirely be owned by Moscow, pretty much, and the Gagauz people would be fine with it being owned by Moscow, but the Muscovites obviously do not see Gagauzia as at all useful to them, and so, of course, they would not be too interested in taking them on, which is something that's very interesting to think about, as, of course, Russia is trying to find proxies that it can use, but is not able. Now, this said, I don't believe that the central government in Chișinău is weak anymore. I believe that through EU reforms being pushed, the pro-EU party that is currently in government, people are becoming more acutely aware of what is happening and how things are going. So inherently, I think that as time goes on, there will be more people that, of course, want to join the EU. I think that as Transnistria gains less and less power, and as the government in Chișinău is more and more powerful, I believe that, of course, the trajectory will change. Now, of course, as the trajectory changes, this brings a whole different ideation to the thoughts of the country. And if you are looking at creating a business here, you should be aware of what is going on and how it will impact your business. Although, of course, if you're looking for an idea of how this will impact your business, I believe that if Chișinău wins, there will be more business opportunity in Moldova. If they lose, there will be better privacy in Gagauzia and Transnistria. Of course, there's no way to know with this political situation how things will go, and inherently, if we are looking at dealing with this in the future, I will be back in Moldova looking at how these things work very soon. And of course, if you're at all interested in joining me on that journey, of course, subscribe down below. That said, as this heats up, we will keep you updated on how things are going. And additionally, we will compare this actually to the ongoing situation in Georgia later whenever I am in Georgia. That said, of course, if you are at all interested in globalization, internationalization, finance, things like this, international investment, I would recommend you to subscribe. And if you are at all new to this channel, I appreciate your view. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like. If you really liked the video, feel free to share. If you are looking for one-on-one consulting services and you're looking for a consultation, there's a link down below, my Calendly link, to have consulting one-on-one, absolutely free for 15 minutes. That said, I appreciate you sticking around. This has been the Traveling Report, and I'm off.